Welcome to World Transits Today. I'm Art Granoff. Connect with me at referenceastrology.com. You can check out my site in the reference library, where you can find some videos and information about archetypal astrology. Stan Grof explains astrology. You can see the three charts that we use in archetypal astrology, the three forms of correspondence, the birth chart, the world transits, and the personal transits. If you watch this show regularly, you'll notice that I talk about the four outer planets and how they're all together for a few years. We notice right here we have the planet Uranus in a trine, 120-degree angle with Pluto. That lasts about 10 years. And you notice we have the planet Saturn and the planet Neptune right next to each other in a conjunction. That lasts through 2027. Now, you notice they're all together, all set up. Four planets, one trine, two sextiles. Uranus and Pluto. Uranus is about awakening, breakthroughs, and innovation, rebellion, liberation, and change. And Pluto brings power, depth, rebirth, and intensity towards one's distinctive path. And together, they symbolize a fresh revolution, radical change, collective awakening, and an intensified drive for freedom. Saturn and Neptune. Saturn's about limitation, boundaries, structure, and discipline. And Neptune is idealism, spirituality, loosening boundaries and transcendence. Also confusion. And together, building Saturn, dreams, Neptune, or tensions between what's real and ideal. Okay, so keep this in mind as we continue. What have we here? Here's three of the major outer planet alignments in the sky for many years. You see, there's Uranus sextile Neptune, there's Neptune sextile Pluto, and Uranus trine Pluto. So it's three transits, combinations of the three outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Let's check it out. Uranus with Neptune. If Uranus is the new thing, being born, fresh air, and Neptune is the transcendent spirituality, well, that's like a match made in heaven, huh? Being open to the transcendent. Wow. Or being open to being very spaced out. Neptune can be diluted. All right, Uranus and Neptune, very powerful, around for about 10 years. We have Uranus trine Pluto. Here we go. Uranus, Pluto. Uranus is awakening and innovation, and Pluto is about power and rebirth. Together, they symbolize a fresh revolution, an intensified drive for freedom. So Uranus trine Pluto, here for 10 years, 2022 to 2032, very powerful. Uranus and Pluto. And then we look at the planet Neptune in a sextile with the planet Pluto. Now, believe it or not, this transit lasts 100 years from around 1930 to about 2030. And simply put, if Neptune is about spirituality, transcendence, and Pluto is about transformation, well, one could say at its best, Neptune-Pluto could be your spiritual quest towards transformation. I'm going with that, okay? So here's the three of these big outer planet transits. Now, these three planets are somewhat challenging to talk about in plain English because they reference a deep state of mind. They reference the state of mind found in psychedelics, where we leave our natural mind, we leave our logical mind, and we go exploring into the depths of the psyche. Thus, Uranus Neptune. Thus, Uranus Pluto and Neptune Pluto. We also have the planet Saturn. We notice that Saturn sextile Uranus came in early 2025 and leaves 2027. Saturn with Uranus. Saturn's about tradition, what is, the way we've always done it, the old way. And Uranus represents what's new, what's exciting, what's on the horizon. So, in a way, they're opposites. Saturn refers to what's solid from the past, and Uranus represents what's new. So, in our mind, there could be that tension between the old and the new. You could be satisfied with what you're doing, say, and some new thing comes along and you don't want to go near it. It's scary. Or you could be doing the regular thing you always do and you're, kind of over it in a way. And then the new thing appears and, oh yeah, let's run to that. Or you could be sort of okay with Saturn and your regular routine. And then the new thing comes and it's kind of challenging and it's interesting. So you're like, let me continue with what I'm doing, but open one eye to the future. So there's lots of possibilities with Saturn and Uranus. Okay. Then also we have Saturn conjunct Neptune for 3 years. Saturn again, right here, limitation, boundaries, and structure. And Neptune is spirituality and transcendence. And together, building dreams or tensions between what's real and ideal. So Saturn with Neptune. I have that in my chart as a conjunction. I'm born in the early 50s. Saturn, Neptune. When I was younger, it was more of a conflict between stuff I like to do and things I had to do. Okay, things I like to do, my imagination, having fun, Neptune, and Saturn, the bottom line, having my thing together so I could support myself, etc. It's tricky. But now that I'm 72 and I've been through a lot of decades and a lot of torment and a lot of work, inner work, I realize that Saturn Neptune is about building dreams. And that's one of the things, that's one of my goals in doing world transits today is building dreams so they could become attractive. And maybe someone can join me in that dream. Hey. And we have Saturn sextile Pluto. Saturn, what's solid the way it always was, and Pluto, transformation. Saturn, the strength to transform. So there's all of our outer planet transits at the moment. I call them the top six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And they're around, and they're going to be around for a couple more years. So one thing to think about is that if you do a psychedelic journey or some type of deep breath work journey or somehow open up your consciousness, somehow, with your eyes closed, and you're in that space, you may have an experience around what I'm talking about or different variations of it. And then afterwards, okay, after your journey, we could look at your chart and transits and see what matches. So you can map your personal experience archetypally and get a completely different view. It's interesting, to say the least. Then here's our outer planet transits. Let's add some inner planets, shall we? Let's add the planet Jupiter. And we see right here for November, right here, November, it's Jupiter Neptune, Jupiter Uranus, and Jupiter Pluto. So if Uranus and Pluto is about freedom with intensity, okay, as an example, all Jupiter is going to do is grant that success. So more freedom and more intensity. The thing with Jupiter and Pluto is a couple of ways. When we're younger and perhaps all running on instinct, okay, Jupiter wants to expand to get really big. And Pluto is tough because Pluto is intensity. So many times, the Jupiter and Pluto person is going to be someone that's really intense and really big. Everywhere they go, they've got to dominate the situation. They compel people to do what they say. They're a little pushy, one might say. Or as we age, so to say, and as we do some inner work perhaps and get more acquainted with this stuff, we start to see that perhaps the Jupiter and Pluto person could be expanded towards their transformation, can lead the way with success and good fortune towards their transformation, and everybody else's at the same time. So there we have it. Jupiter with Uranus and Pluto, and also Jupiter with Neptune. Neptune, spirituality, flow, and Jupiter, expansion and good fortune. That's pretty good. There's our Jupiter with the outer planets. There's the planet Mars with Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. All of November, right? First half of November, kind of leaked in from October over there. So it's Mars, Uranus, Pluto. Uranus and Pluto. Freedom with intensity. Okay. So Mars, Uranus is be motivation towards the new thing. What's new? Or Mars, Uranus can be way spaced out. Uranus in the shadow can become unmoored or aloof. No one knows what you're talking about. You're way out. And Mars, Pluto. A couple of ways to look at Mars Pluto. One way is the courage, Mars, rah, strength and courage towards your transformation. That would be the initiated view. The more instinctive view, which seems to be prevalent in the world today, would be Mars Pluto, would be unbridled rage. It would be just kill everybody, kill them all. And the poster boy for Mars Pluto in the world today would be Benjamin Netanyahu, who, well, you watch the news, you can check Mars Pluto in action. So there's Mars, and also Mars Neptune, moving towards wholeness, which we like a lot, or moving towards delusion. Mars Neptune, take your pick. Okay, we have the planet Mercury right there for November 2025. And we see that Mercury as well is on the three outer planets. We got Mercury with Uranus that came in mid-October through mid-December, 2-month transit. Mercury, the mind, Uranus, the new thing, the aha moment when we get it, when, oh yeah, wow. Okay. Mercury, Neptune, alrighty. Neptune's our imagination, spirituality. So Mercury, Neptune would be a vivid imagination, uh, being me wanting to learn things with your intellect, like music or art or poetry. Mercury, Neptune, Mercury in the spiritual realm, the imaginative realm. And then Mercury, Pluto. Hey, for 2 months, Mercury, our mind, intellect, communication with Pluto, underground, underworld. When you look for minerals and you look for gold and you look for stuff that's really important, what you can use, you got to go downtown, underneath the surface, just like any kind of spiritual work. You've got to go under the surface where that stuff lives. So Mercury Pluto usually refers to digging under the surface, to mining for gold, for minerals, for rare earths, or perhaps mining for consciousness. Take your pick. Mercury, Pluto. Okay, there's Mercury with the outer planets. Here comes the sun right there, November. Let's open it up a little bit. Whoops. Let's see. There we go. So for November, we notice towards the second half of the month with Sun with Mercury around the 15th. Mercury, the mind, Sun, identity, would be believing your thoughts, for going for it, for this is what I think. Here I am. On the shadow of that, Sun with Mercury can be too much talking, too much mind, too much communication, overdoing it. Yap, 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 yap. Okay. Like I'm doing. We have Sun with Uranus. Reach for the sun. Uranus being fresh air, open the window, illumination, what's new, which is exciting. Sun Uranus in from the 11th till the end of the month, about 3 weeks. It's good fortune. Or Uranus can be spaced out, so you could be really spaced out and no one knows what you're talking about or doing. We have the Sun with Neptune. Ah, identifying with imagination, identifying with spirituality. It's a good idea, right? Or Neptune can be confusing or delusion, so you could be identifying with delusion. It's a fine line, right? Then we have the Sun with Pluto, a powerful pair. Identity, Sun, and Pluto, transformation. I identify with power. Sun, Pluto. Identify with power. That's either power that's taken over your life and is ordering you around like a you're like a puppet of power, telling you what to do all the time, right? Or Sun Pluto can be after doing inner work, after spending time doing inner work, you get to create some pressure in there. And then maybe your true voice, your who you are can come out and pop out, right? Sun Pluto, you can be who you are. You can be as outrageous as you want to be. Try it, see what happens. So there's an example of the four outer planets with the four inner planets. We have the full moon, November 5th. The sun opposite the moon. At what time? At 4:55 a.m. And then we have the new moon on, let's see, new moon on the 19th at 10:55 p.m. And look at this new moon. This month, there's the sun and the moon, okay? And the sun and the moon is with Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Whew. Looks pretty good to me. We have election day coming up on the 4th. And here is Zoran Mamdani. I finally said it right. Whew. There he is. Nice young guy, wants to be the mayor of New York City. He's leading double digits in the polls right now. And he represents the new face where we're going, I do believe. Check out his chart. He's born 1991. Whoa. In the middle of the Uranus and Neptune conjunction, which lasted from 1985 till about 2001. Uranus being the new thing and Neptune being transcendent. Uranus, Neptune. Easy access to the transcendent. And if you notice, he's got that easy access to the transcendent on Venus with love and Jupiter expanding that. And there's his smile. He looks like it, doesn't he? He's got that Jupiter Venus smile. Okay, right there. And something really exciting about Mamdani's chart, I'm going to show now. is that you notice he's got the sun on Saturn, sun square Saturn, and he's got the sun square Neptune. So he's got sun, Saturn, Neptune. Now, if we go back and look at our four outer planets, okay, Saturn, Neptune, right there, it looks like that Uranus and Pluto and Saturn and Neptune are all together. They're pointing at something. Could they be pointing to Mondami? So after Trump, could he be the new leader, the new breed of leaders, getting us out of this mess and back to some type of reality that works? Let's hope so. There he is, Zoran Mamdani. Election day, November 4th. And I was just in Spain for a short while. Pretty nice over there. They speak Spanish. The food is very good. The coffee's pretty good. And it's really fun hanging out in Spain. And there's a picture of the beautiful Gaudi church that I went to. So thanks for joining me, everyone, at World Transits Today, running down the transits for November 2025. I'm Art Granoff.